This week we thought we'd talk a little bit about the FIBA World Cup, and obviously it's around the corner now. And I guess at this time of the year, it's probably your basketball highlight, right? You might as well something to tune into and check some box scores and see who won a game, and see who's sort of dropping points on the board in a sense, right? And I guess like I sort of came up with this topic about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago now. We had a quick look online at the rosters, and I guess the international game's a bit of a interesting one to follow, I guess, isn't it? The rosters are not really even fixed at this point yet. That we don't know some of these superstars, perhaps for some of these countries, whether they will suit up or not. We know some won't, obviously, and I guess that can really swing the equation a little bit either way. So, yeah, I don't know. Is there anything you want to add, or shall we sort of break down some of these groups and have a look at who might be the contenders here, maybe?
Yeah, look, I think preface it with we're recording a couple of weeks out at the FIBA World Cup. So, let's say hypothetically we picked Greece, knowing that the Giannis factor may or may not even be there. And then we find out that he's not going to attend. That will definitely really tank our pick, so to speak. But yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, you're right. Glad to have some form of hoops because it's been a little bit quiet this last month.
I guess so look at Group A. I guess Group A looks actually like a real weak group. I don't know if you've got this up in front of you, hopefully too. I guess we're gonna get tested here with our country's knowledge too, right? It's almost like a geographical game, yeah. With the initials. I don't know, what is it? Angola? Is it, what's the DOM like? Is it the Dominican Republic? I think. And Philippines and Italy. Is that play the four in Group A? I think.
That's the picture I'm looking at. But it seems like maybe you need an image up. But it's Group A and Group B, and they do some mingling together. So even though there's eight groups, it really feels like there's four groups based on who they're going to play each other. So that also makes up Group B: South Sudan, Serbia, China, and Puerto Rico. Which I feel
What
like
what
we're going to
what
tip.
what are you looking at? I don't even know how Group A and Group B play each other. Oh, are you playing? Oh, okay. So they play three
I got
games
the
from
game schedule up.
each one.
Yeah, it looks like they play three games in each one, and then new groups form out of the rankings that they achieve in their respective groups.
In the
It
second round, isn't it?
I have a very nice infographic. I could forward it on to you if you want.
Nah, no, no, no.
Um,
This is the top four. This is the top four advance, though. Okay, sorry. So top two on each group advance. I don't know what
yeah,
infographic you're looking at. I feel like now we're going to argue about how the bracket breaks down.
no, like I
but
found it. It's
but
from the
no,
FIBA basketball website. Come on,
it's not. Where is it? Let me bring it up. One second. Where'd you send it to me?
I haven't sent it to you because you
Oh,
said not to send it. I'm putting it in the Zoom chat. All right, I'm putting it in the Zoom chat. We're professionals here. This is a good topic.
um. All right. Let me click on this. Here we go. This is. Oh, okay, this is highly not helpful. Let's be clear, dude. Come back in 15 minutes once I've deciphered this infograph,
Nah, it's a
right?
simple image. It's a simple image. You look at it, you go down. It's great. It's great. It's a great image.
Okay, so basically, because you like threw me off course here, because you indicated that Group A and Group B play each other, but they do not. They basically play six games, three games each within their group. And then if you qualify first or second within your group, yeah, you got to finish top two. You then advance to the second round, and then that crosses over before the quarterfinals. I think that's
I've
that's
set
the
you up. So you've explained it to our listeners who don't understand how FIBA basketball works. So that's good. And and in true fashion, with someone who has a wrong opinion on the internet, I'm just not going to acknowledge that I even said that. So thank you for clarifying that for the listeners.
Hey,
Good.
like you said, right, we're just trying to get content, right? So, people like to
Just
ramble
trying
on
to get
us
something.
about us that don't know anything about basketball, as more often than not people tell us, right? So there you go, right? 5 minutes ago we didn't really know how it broke down, but now we do, right? So I guess look, to me, Group A, I think Italy stands out, man. I think they're probably the favourites there to Italy to really come out of Group A. I don't know who's even playing for the other teams. I don't even know.
I feel like the rosters. I feel like the rosters. You look. You're looking at these rosters here, and there are NBA players across the board.
Yeah.
So obviously it's that breadth of talent that we're seeing across the league. But when I look at Group A, I don't feel like any of those teams are going to be serious contenders in the later rounds. I do need to mention the Philippines strong basketball community always seems to rope in an NBA player. Jordan Clarkson probably going to drop 30 a game. But no, Group A doesn't look too
Look,
serious.
look,
Obviously,
you know
Group
what?
B a little bit more.
Actually, let me go back to Group A. So Dominican Republic actually have listed Cat, okay, and Al Horford. Okay, so I guess you know you've got some talent there, assuming they suit up. Yeah, assuming they suit up in that sort of sense. Yeah, that's a big question there. So let's move to Group B. What do we got in Group B? Here we got SSD. What the hell is SSD? I don't
No,
know.
it's South Sudan.
Oh, South Sudan.
Okay,
Okay.
South Sudan, Serbia, China, and Puerto Rico. And obviously a little bit more talent there. You know, China are always a pretty reputable team,
No
stay
Jokic though.
competitive, and then Serbia without Jokic, but Serbia in general, you know, quite a strong team. So you know, feel like that may or may not appear in some people's top four. Um, but you know, always depends on everyone else's rosters and how things play out for them.
You're still feeling Serbia will probably come through at least in that group play. I think out of those four.
You Out of those four, you would be quite optimistic. Serbia and China should be able to leave that group.
Then we got what? Group C, we got USA, Jordan, Greece, and New Zealand. I think
Yeah, so
look,
pretty small countries there. Nothing too impressive. Um, you know, Jordan, it'd be lovely if that was a more Nike affiliated country, but it's not. You know, Greece with Giannis maybe not appearing, maybe appearing, who knows? Um, you
honestly,
know, my money would be
right
on
now,
the
let's make a
USA.
prediction here. Will Giannis play for Greece or not? I'm gonna say probably not.
No, no,
Yeah, but you know,
I don't see it. Yeah, no.
I think it'd
I
be
think maybe there's some Giannis stuff where his back may or may not be a little bit more serious. You know, there's the joys of the off season is you can hide news a little bit, but yeah, maybe something's up with that back, and they're just going to be cautious.
I think the other
USA
thing.
really should come out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think USA stands out for that. You'd be shocked if somehow they didn't finish first in that pool there. There'd have to be an upset across the board to a certain extent for that to happen. I think the other thing with Giannis that there's probably a level of reality that Greece are not, even with Giannis healthy, wouldn't really put them as favorites. You wouldn't probably even put them top three, you know, in that sort of sense. So it's sort of like, do I dress? Do I risk injury? Do I sort of put more mileage on my body and not take the rest in the off season right now for a team that probably even if I put in my best effort might not even medal in that sort of sense. So it sort of makes sense, I think. So um, Group D, I guess what we got here, we got Egypt, Mexico. What's MNE? And Lithuania. What's MNE?
Montenegro,
Is it okay?
and Lithuania coming out there. Um, Look, Lithuania, I would feel pretty confident could do something when they move out of the stage, but the rest of those teams, yeah, I think I can move on a little bit.
I mean, look here, who's listed on the Lithuanian team? Actually, Valanciunas.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to read through all these Lithuanian names, and I guess that's probably the only one I think that's currently in the NBA. So look, I don't know. I guess like those European teams, they've always been deep. Whether they've had the necessarily the NBA talent, I would imagine most of these guys play in the Euro League or one of those other Premier Leagues over there in Europe anyway. So yeah, look, I think again, like you said, Lithuania stands out in that group, which brings us to E. We got what? Germany, Finland, Australia, and Japan.
Quite a quite a loaded group, really, when you look at it. You know, NBA talent across the board there. You know, I think maybe a bit of a homer pick, but we would like Australia to be able to move out. And, you know,
Mm,
they've been
mm.
now kind of vying for that bronze medal position pretty consistently now for a couple of years. Finland, obviously, with Laurie Markkinen in there, but I don't know. He's got military service, right? So maybe he's able to play, maybe he's not. Who knows?
He's listed on the roster,
Japan,
so I don't know whether, yeah,
yeah, I
what that
guess it's
means.
fine.
Mm.
Rui Hachimura, you know, maybe he rides that Lakers hype, maybe has a really big, you know, season for Japan. But yeah, look, that out of all four of those teams, that would be one that any two who exit, you wouldn't be shocked by it, so to speak. Um, you know,
I,
that's a hard
I
one.
I feel like we always seem to draw what we like to term in the headlines back at home, the group of death, right? Like it feels like,
I
you know, if we drew like a group where three other names just seem like teams that aren't going to advance, we are the favorites, we should finish first, you know, such sort of situation. But look, Germany and Finland definitely going to give us a run, I think. Japan always comes out in any sort of competition, just plays hard, right? That's sort of how they play. So you're right, man. I guess it could be in you know any of those two countries could really come out of Group E, I guess. So what we got here, Group F: Slovenia, Um, what's CPV?
Uh, Verde.
What?
Showing my ignorance there. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry.
And
Georgia and
Georgia,
Venezuela.
Venezuela. So Slovenia stands
So,
out because at least I know that's a country, right?
well, I think it's more the Luka Doncic and Goran Dragic effect. That they've now become a force in the international game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Luka has a lot of pride. We talked about this in a previous week about international pride. Luka being young enough, being talented enough, clearly has that international pride. So feel confident putting them out of that group. But yeah, it doesn't that feels like a weaker group than the one we just talked about.
That feels like the sort of group you'd like to take Slovenia out and put Australia in that group. Then you sort of go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Australia, we should get through this group, right? That's the situation. All right, Group G. Dude, I don't know. What is IRI?
All right. I feel like I should have led this because I've actually got this country names here. But we've got Iran, we got Spain, we have Cote d'Ivoire. I'm not too sure about that one. And Brazil.
Oh, you're doing a much better
Uh,
job than me.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking real professional. Look, Spain's always a powerhouse. They are getting older now. The Gasol brothers really aren't, the key focal point of their offense anymore. But they have a lot of good EuroLeague players. I would be pretty confident they're going to be fine. And I would say out of those other teams, Brazil would be the only team I put my hat on. Iran kind of notoriously struggled, really. I don't know. This is kind of indicative of how the FIBA World Cup is slightly different to the Soccer World Cup. We there's some teams in here that just get beat every time I see them. But that's a very casual look. Don't crucify me, internet, please.
It's funny you
Can't
mentioned
handle
the
it.
Gasol brothers. I don't think they've been in the Spanish program for at least 5 years now, right? So I
No,
guess
it's not that long.
having a look at the list here, Rudy Fernandez, remember that dude? Obviously, he's still on that list there. Obviously, I probably heard the news that rookie Rubio is out, taking time out for mental illness, some mental health, I guess, and things like that. So he's not playing, I think. Yeah, look, but I think again, Spain out of that group probably looks like one of the standout there. Brazil doesn't seem to have as much talent as it did maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Right now, I couldn't name a single Brazilian player in the NBA. Can you?
No, but I'm sure Barbosa has something to do with the team. I don't know. I guess Group H, we can talk a little bit more about that. We got Canada, Latvia, Lebanon, and France. I feel very confident to say Canada and France are your two favorites in that one. And it's quite interesting when we talk about the groupings that I'm just scrolling down a little bit that, you know, two of those teams you could see being medal candidates and they are going to eliminate one or the other before they get there. So quite interesting that um, that group is as stacked as it is. And I'm
You
talking
think?
about
Yeah,
Canada and France for anyone
I
who's
feel
not
I
inferring.
feel like I feel like Latvia might feel a little bit offended there. They got Porzingis. They got Porzingis
Do
there
they?
on the roster.
Is he going to be
And
playing?
I don't know. Well, that's our $1 million question right now, isn't it? Who's actually playing? But he's on the roster. I think the Canada team is definitely favored this year to really, make some noise, I think, and get sort of through a few of those rounds into the finals in the sense. So and France obviously no Wembanyama. So that probably is a huge, huge blow to them. I don't know if the other is Gobert playing. Like he'd be listed, no doubt. But again,
Yeah, he'd probably be playing.
you know,
He'd probably be playing.
who we got there? We got obviously like Batum, Fournier, obviously, but Fournier sort of has taken a step backwards. I think he's starting to get old. I think it's probably time
He
that.
has the international vibe that Patty Mills does, right? Where like
Mm,
internationally he's really good, but NBA you kind of forget that he's around sometimes. So
that's true. That's true. So, look, I guess that's a breakdown of the rounds here, and I guess we're gonna make some picks here. What? Bronze, silver, gold. I don't know, dude. You can go first. At least you picked more countries than me, right?
thanks. Yeah, okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll sprinkle this in here a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna go. I'm trying to look at where the groups end up and what happens thereafter. I'm
I,
gonna
I don't.
go with Slovenia with the bronze. I'm gonna go with Canada with the silver, and I'm gonna go US with the gold. I think that's gonna see how it plays out with my educated opinion
Who's
of
who's
not knowing
Slovenia
most of the
playing for
rosters.
bronze?
Slovenia will play Australia for bronze, and they'll get revenge for that Olympic medal. And it's going to be Luca hitting a buzzer beater over Joe Ingles. It's going to be very dramatic. I have seen into the future, and that's how it's going to play out.
I love the confidence. I love the confidence. Actually, I probably should have gone first because now I'm just going to repeat your picks. But I'm going to go
It's
slightly
lazy.
differently here.
Lazy.
Look, I actually had Slovenia in bronze as well. Um, I guess I was going to say they were going to play a different team, not Australia. I was going to say they're going to play Germany. So obviously, I got Slovenia coming over the top of Germany. You sort of feel, I don't know if you watched the last time, was it the Olympics? The last international stage was Olympics, that Luca really just took over. Yeah, and it was
Hmm.
almost, it was, it was similar to like what you referenced, just where Fournier really stands out on the international stage, just like Paddy Mills and just some of these other I guess, core players of their international team and the makeout of that team. And obviously Doncic is a superstar in the NBA too, but just how he plays, how sort of the focal point is him. If he gets going, who can stop him in that sort of sense? So you sort of feel that they're definitely a chance to medal if he can play well. If they can shut him down, then they might not even make they make that sort of point of the finals in a sense. So I guess look, Slovenia for bronze. I have gold, silver, medal match the same with you as Canada versus USA. But you know what? I'm gonna just mix it up here. I'm gonna say Canada are gonna cause an upset. And they've got a talented team here. They've got a talented team, and assuming everyone's suiting up, which seems like what's the news on the wire, right? Everyone's going to suit up. Question mark, I think, is only Jamal Murray. I think, question mark is Jamal Murray, but, they've got SGA, they've got RJ Barrett, they've got some of the vets that have been there for a while, like Linnick and things like that. I don't know. I guess this USA team, we touched upon before, it's a bit of a B grade team. They're quite young. Getting to gold medal games probably great in that sense already. Can they close it out? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Canada are going to upset here, get the gold, therefore US for silver.
Yeah, look, I think the US being very young, there is true merit in saying that. I am banking on the Anthony Edwards effect. I think that this is, he's gotten better every single year, and this might be the breakout sort of opportunity, right? You constantly hear about international play being a bit of a precursor for a big year in the NBA, and I think he's about to have a really big tournament, and then he's going to have a really big year moving forward. But
They just got to
that'll
put,
probably come up
put
later.
they just got to put defensive stopper Dylan Brooks on him. He's feeling good about his 80 million a year, and it's funny you mentioned Anthony Edwards. I don't know if you've been following some of these Team USA news articles. Sounds of it, he's losing his starting spot anyway.
Yeah, but I think there's probably a defensive mindset that they want to go for here. I think there's probably offensive schemes that they want to run. Um, and it's probably a veteran thing. Maybe it's a pecking order. Maybe it's just the tactics. We're still 3 weeks out, man. I reckon just wait. I reckon we're going to see some Ant Edwards. It's going to be a fun tournament. And if you've liked this content, we have far better content for love of God. Go check out anything else besides this video in the future. Uh, Thanks.
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.